What's good, y'all? Akil here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be interviewing Gregory Chigozi of CreativeFinancing.com. Now, in today's video, we're going to be discussing everything you need to know about an LLC, but of course, if there's anything that we may have forgotten in today's video, stay tuned for part 2 because we're going to be discussing a little more detailed information about business and entrepreneurship in general. So if you have any questions, definitely drop that in the comment section, and we will get back to you guys as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's going to be one of those interviews that hopefully will inspire a lot of people and just give people that information that I know a lot of you all have been asking me for. So I decided to go reach out to a professional. And today I have Gregory Chigozi, and he's a business owner. He helps small business owners. He introduce yourself, because to me what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you, Akil. I appreciate that. So yes, I am a business service specialist. The company that I represent is Kreative Financing. Basically what that means is that I target the small, medium-sized business owner. And what that entails is business setup, corporation, LLC, Inc., nonprofit, DBA, right? And then there's business financing. I do business financing from the startup phase all the way into in their business and I need extra cash and stuff like that. I also help them as well. And even traditional financing, like something similar that would mirror to like a bank. And then I also do savings plans for the business owner. So he has, after, he has a legacy that he can leave his family for himself. And obviously the business can also even continue on even past him. So I kind of go over all three of those, and all three of those are kind of I have specialties in some of them, obviously, and then I also have the CPA that I work with as well, and he kind of goes into I'm not a tax advisor, so I don't want to we'll be talking about taxes, but I am not a tax advisor. But at the same token, I just kind of know the fundamentals and how to get started and what to at least think about. And then obviously you want to go to a CPA. We have a CPA that you can speak to. You can speak to ours. Or if you have somebody that you already trust, you could definitely go ahead and talk to them about these certain topics.
That's dope. That's dope. So first and foremost, I think one of the biggest questions I constantly get on my channel, a lot of people that are either thinking about getting into reselling or any other business for that matter, they always ask me, when should they get a LLC? What is a LLC? How important is it? Like, I get all of those type of questions. So hopefully,
no problem. I'll be able to answer
all of those.
Yeah. So, when to start an LLC? When you're mentally ready. I mean, there's no certain time or year or whenever, like, oh, this is a good time or this is not a good time. It's when you're ready to get started. Period. Right. Like that is what I always tell my clients. Anybody if you're ready to really take on this battle, then set up your business. So it's a mind thing first, okay? And then also with with corporations, it really comes down to, let's talk about LLCs, because that's probably the most simpler one, and that's the most attractive one to small, medium-sized businesses that I usually deal with. Now, with an LLC, it's really about the tax protection. I mean, it's about the tax flexibility, and it's also about the protection when you're going into business. So when you're going into business, you want to make sure you protect yourself, especially if you have assets that you have to protect. You own a home, you own a car, obviously all those things you want to protect. So when you go into business, it's a risk. One thing you have to understand, it's a risk. It's a risk associated with it, but you can make it a calculated risk. And that's kind of the thing you have to understand. That's why people tell you, come up with some sort of business plan, have an idea of what you're going to get yourself into. So that's the most important part, because I'm not going to sit here, right? Like I have, I don't have a detailed business plan, whatever, but I do have an outline on what I want to get accomplished. And obviously when day by day, right, then I'll go ahead and, adjust when I need to adjust.
Absolutely.
So yeah, continuing on with the LLC. So it's really for the asset protection. If you're going into business, you want to protect your assets. If you don't really have that many assets, you can start with a DBA depending on what your budget is. Now, With a DBA, it's literally you're just registering your business. Okay, I'm gonna go by doing business as such and such. That's what you're going. So you can go to your clerk, your local clerk office, right? Go register your DBA. Just tell them your name, your address, and everything like that. You'll have a photo ID. Usually DBAs are about like $40.
Right.
And then you have to publish your name. And you go, and then you have to publish your name. That's how they do it in the state of California. Now, when you upgrade, then you can upgrade to an LLC, which this is what it is. This is what I give my clients. It's
Official.
a corporate. Yeah, this is official. Like I was just telling Akil earlier, when I ask people, hey, do you have a business? And they're like, oh yeah, I have a business. Just, do you have your documents that look like this? Because this is what you should, every person should have this. I mean, this is your baby. This is, it should be kept in, where you keep your books, where you read or anything like that. Anywhere you sacred, like your business should be there.
Right.
It should align with everything else. So that's how I view it. So with the LLC, again, it's with the asset protection and then also with the tax flexibility. So obviously you want to talk to your tax professional about this, but basically the profits that you make with your LLC, your corporation doesn't necessarily pay taxes. You'll pay taxes as an individual. So that's so you're going to just file yourself and then all the profits will. Now in the state of California, there's always an annual fee, which is $800. So $800 is what you're paying for every year being in business in the state of California. Now, other states, they have their own rules, or probably they have their own annual fee that they have to pay. Yes, with California, it's a little bit more expensive. It's $800. So that's kind of what it is to actually have the LLC. You want to have another thing with the LLC, and you want to have a registered agent. Now, a registered agent is the one that basically, anything from the state, if they want to send you information or any updates with what's going on. So you have somebody that kind of gives you all the information, even if someone's suing you. If someone's suing you, it's even your registered agent will be notified about it or anything like that. So you just want to protect you. So that's what the LLC does. It's just that protection that you get, against creditors and against any lawsuits. Okay, so no one's going to seize your personal assets. So that's why getting an LLC is important, especially what type of business you're getting into. Obviously, that also plays a role. But, again, talk to somebody, talk to your tax advisor. You can talk to ours, and he can actually sit down with you, understand what kind of business you're getting into and what is appropriate for.
That makes a lot of sense because I think so many people, when they think about starting a business, I know for myself personally, I didn't get I have an S corp, and I didn't do it immediately. For the first maybe year and a half to 2 years, I was working as a sole proprietor. So
but you're still in business. I mean,
right.
It's not, you're still in business. So don't make it seem like, oh, well, I just had a sole prop. You were still in business. It's just now the S corp, you protected your assets. You're protecting your assets now. And it's just that protection that you need when you're especially being in business.
Right. I think it's funny because when you said it's like a mentality thing, it's a mind shift that you have to make because as a sole proprietor, you don't necessarily need to fill out any forms. You don't necessarily need to spend any money, any time. You can just jump in and start your business. But like you said, once you start having some assets and once you start having things that you feel like you need to protect, that's when I think a lot of people start to lean towards getting an LLC. And I think that's probably the mindset thing. You know what I mean? Like
right. Exactly. It's all a mindset thing. And and obviously if an LLC works, there's Inc. too, and then you can see it's an S corp or a C corp. Obviously there's difference with that as far as taxes is concerned. Right. Somebody getting an Inc., that's somebody that's going to be thinking about, they're going to try to be a Fortune 500 company. They're going public, they're going to have to write down corporate minutes. You can still do corporate minutes as an LLC too, if it's good practice, just to have record on what your activity was for the year. But, obviously once you upgrade to something like an Inc. or something like that, there's definitely more responsibilities for the corporation to, run correctly. So that's so, and again, that's something that you want to talk about with your tax advisor. And then also a nonprofit. I've set up a nonprofit for people as well. It's just still the same thing. You're setting up a corporation, but now it's the 501 C3, I believe.
Yeah, 501c3. Yep.
Yeah, 501c3, exactly. So work on getting the tax exempt stamp, so then you can, get your donations and you don't have to pay taxes on it either.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I feel like a lot of people need those type of just that type of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like especially when it comes to especially when it comes to just entrepreneurship, because they don't necessarily teach these things in school. You know?
They don't. They don't, man. They don't. And that's the thing. It's crazy because all this information I learned was outside of. I graduated with a communication major. I didn't go to school for business. All this knowledge is after I had a business coach, and I've done all this is self-knowledge, to be honest, and kind of like my association. And that's how I was able to learn all this stuff and just be like, wow, it should be something that you should just know how to do. Whether you're in business or not, it should be part of the curriculum on, people entrepreneurship. And, I know they're kind of, now that I've been talking to my little cousins and they're telling me, they're learning more about entrepreneurship, which is great because, my generation really didn't have that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the big thing, what I always say is that, of course, I don't want to get into too many like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But for me, I think since taking out trades out of high schools and junior high schools, but since so many schools started doing that, it literally shifted the mentality and shifted that mind state to now all you do in school is learn how to be a good employee. So they don't want to teach you about starting an LLC, starting an S Corp, starting your own business, because they want you to work for somebody else. They don't want you to create your own and have generational wealth. Everything that you were talking about before.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. But we're it's hard, but at the same token, now we're blessed that we have these social media platforms to where people can go seek the information, because the information's out there. That's What's so beautiful about it. Especially us as brothers now, speaking on this type of stuff. There's not a lot on YouTube yet, but the information is there. It's crazy, and it's there. It's there, and it's if you want to seek for it, you can get it.
Absolutely.
You can, if you want to seek for it, you can get it. And, but the resources are there, and all we got to do is just take advantage of it, and we're going to be all right.
Absolutely. So tell me about the cost that's associated with starting an LLC and a S Corp and all those types of
stuff. Good question. Now, before I get to the price, right, let's actually talk about what comes in this. I'll go over that, and then we can definitely talk about that. First of all, we're, as far as creative, we're very affordable as far as getting something like this. There's a lot you can go on. They usually charge between like $2,500 to $3,000 for this type of stuff. Especially if you go to an attorney's office and you want to set it up and tell them you want a registered agent, you want all these things, they can charge like a pretty penny, like a solid pretty penny for this. So, we're definitely, we're like literally half the price of that. So, or even less than that. So that's kind of, I want to make it affordable for people to just, don't worry about the money. Just focus on your business. Focus on what you're going to want to get accomplished. Don't worry about stuff, because I always try to figure out, what's that and what's that? No, just focus on what you do best. Just focus on that, and then everything else will just come in play. Okay?
Not only
that's
that,
what's good.
Sorry to cut you off. Not only that, but
no, go ahead.
Gotta view it as an investment. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, when you're starting a business in the early stages, you might not be making any money. You might be just barely breaking even with whatever it is that you're trying to sell, whichever services you're trying to promote. You might just be breaking even, especially in terms of time. So if you really have that confidence in yourself, it's basically like you're putting some more skin in the game. You're making sure that, one, you're thinking long term as well, because you're not always gonna barely you're not only gonna barely go break even, eventually there's going to
Exactly.
come a point where you're going to start making more money, and you need to start protecting those assets. So you don't want to get the LLC and the S corp and all of these things 10 years down the road when you have assets, and by then it's too late. Somebody could get you for whatever. Things happen, you never know.
You're right. No,
Like
you're
insurance.
absolutely right. That great point. You're absolutely right. So and so continuing on, like as far as what comes everything with the corporation. So let's start with this. This is, it's not as common as much, but this is the corporate seal. We give you a corporate seal. Now, with the corporate seal, this is basically like your signature of your corporation. You can put it on like lease agreements or anything like that, or any agreements with other partnerships that you have. So that's one thing, you get that. Um, so this is the corporate seal. And then the next thing is we also give you your stock certificate. Now, let me show you what that looks like. You have, obviously, if you're by yourself, you can keep it in there. But obviously, if you, in the future, if you want people to invest in your company and give them shares, you would officially give them a stock certificate, which, have you put your information here, how much shares are you going to give them on the day that you did it, and then you both sign, and then you can even use the corporate seal to use this as well and make it official. So so this actually comes with it. Okay, so how many owners? Usually how LLCs are set up, versus like a corporation, they would have their board of directors, and you have your officers or stuff like that. With LLC, it's pretty simple. It's either member managed or manager managed, meaning that obviously you just have the day-to-day partners. We were in business, it'd be just me and you, and we know day-to-day operation. And then manager managed is kind of more of like a board of director kind of thing, an investor that kind of oversees the business, stuff like that. Okay. So that's kind of how they break it down for an LLC, but still the same principles. And then also, then you have what is called your statement of information. Now, your statement of information, you're probably going to need that. A lot of banks ask for it, even when you set up a bank account.
Yes.
You want the statement of information. That's basically kind of what your operations are. What are you actually doing in your business? Like, I'm a retail, I'm a gas station, I'm a restaurant, whatever the case may be. So usually that has to be updated every year. As far as, what the day-to-day operations, anything else changes, then you want to keep updating that frequently. Definitely, that's one of the documents that you need to go ahead and set up a bank account.
I know that's true for a fact because I just opened up a business bank account maybe 6 or 7 months ago, shortly after I started the S Corp. And that was one of the first things. I believe they needed a bunch of things. Some of it they were able to find online because they were able to just look up the business online. But they also, the statement of information, I believe the articles of...
I was going to get to all that. Yeah. No, you already know your stuff. So yeah, the statement of statement of information. Here it is. This is what it would look like. This is the one. I know it's kind of hard to see. This is the one that's for the state of California. With your tax advisor, go ahead and make sure you have that when you're setting up your LLC. We'll make sure that we set that up for you. And again, and I also want to let people know that, we set up anywhere, any state. So it doesn't matter if the state of California, we can incorporate anywhere. As long as you have an address, a physical address that you're going to use for your corporation, that's all that's needed. Okay. So it doesn't matter what state you're in. Okay. But this is the one for the state of California. So, and then obviously you need your EIN number. Now your EIN number is your tax ID number. It's the corporation social. That's kind of how, look at it like that. It's the corporation social, and you have that number. So if you're ever trying to, get a bank loan, even through me, like, going through the application, all that, you're going to need your EIN number, so no lender is going to give you any money if you don't have that EIN number.
Right.
So that's obviously something else that you have to get. And it's your special number. Make sure you keep your number. take care of it just like your social. It's like another social. Just look at it like that. You don't tell anybody your social. You don't tell anybody your EIN. Same principle. And then, this is what the IRS. This is the IRS for the EIN number. You'll have your EIN kind of right here, right? And then it's for your state, whatever state you're in. And then I'll have your physical address and the name of your business. So make sure you keep that. Because that's always going to be important when you're opening bank accounts or you're always trying to get any funding for your business. You need that number. That's very important. So then also we have the articles. Okay, now the articles of organization, articles of corporation, that's actually when your corporation was, the day it was actually created. Okay, so that's when it's actually born within whatever state that you're in. Okay, so it'll tell you the name of your business, entity name, address, who are the officers of your corporation, and where it was filed. Okay, so it should look like this, and that's also something. This is also another document that you're going to need as far as getting any type of financing for your business or anything else like that. You're gonna need to show that. Okay.
So talk to me about some of the financing options as well, because
we could get into that, and that's like another segment in itself. But yes, absolutely, we could talk about that. So most of the there's line of credits options. I also do personal line of credit. That's more for the startup phase of it. It's somebody that doesn't have any, just started their business, don't know, how to get started and get the money, but I can definitely help them on the starting phase. And then also, we also have short-term financing. Something that you're kind of already in business, you just kind of need cash right now. You can't wait for a traditional bank. That's going to take maybe 60 to 90 days just to hear a yes or a no. And then we also have those traditional financing that's even sooner, but it can, go back to like usually 2 to 5 years. Okay. And obviously with the APRs and the interest rate, that always kind of fluctuates depending on the time and what industry you're in, how long have you been in business, how steady is your cash flow, you know what I mean? Do you have any cold periods? So it's really goes into depth, and I actually used to be a underwriter for a private lender. I sold the money and I read the files too. So I kind of understand exactly kind of like the basics on what what lenders look at for an approval for a business.
So for my audience in particular, I know I'm like myself, I'm a reseller. So in a nutshell, basically I'd buy something low and I'll sell it for more than I paid for. So do you guys usually work with people that's in that industry? Because it's
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yes, we basically can fund anything. I mean, the only industry that we can't is actually the industry. That's the only industry that we really can't touch. I haven't heard that yet. I mean, obviously they can get like a personal line of credit or something like that. But as far as business financing, everything's pretty much open for game. What they want, some of the programs that we have, they're really looking for the revenue. If you're making consistent revenue every single month, there's no reason why you can't get anywhere. And it's not necessarily so credit driven, where you have to have a good credit score and stuff like that. So that's kind of what the niche is, because it's not so as far as technically regulated like a traditional bank or any type of long-term loan that's out there, traditional loan that's out there. And then obviously even with our money, the money that I promote, you can actually pay the money. There's no prepayment penalties. So any traditional financing, if you try to pay that money back on, they want to make sure you're paying for a long time so they can get that interest. That's the point, know. So they want to make sure you keep making those payments. But we have programs to where you can actually save on the back end if you decide to I want to get out of that and then I kind of either want to start something else or something or whatever you want to do at that point.
That's good to know.
So the flexibility is there. So that's, and obviously, not every loan is different. Every loan, so it's always about finding that one that's going to work for your business and what makes sense.
That makes sense, because I know sometimes, especially for us, if we go to certain banks or if we go into, especially when it comes to like say a home loan or a business loan, a lot of these banks, they make us jump through so many hoops that it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And just to hear no, just to hear maybe or something like that, or sorry, you're on the waiting list. Like there's so many things that they can do. And realistically, banks don't really want to touch anybody unless they've been 5 to 6 years in business. If they have like a great credit score. Obviously, if you have a connection, that's another story. But if realistically, it's very hard, especially now what's going on with this COVID going on. It's going to be harder. It's just going to be harder. Banks are going to be very, very tight. They want to really deal with people that are making like $10, $15 million every year. They fund those people. But what about the small, medium-sized businesses?
Right.
To them, they look at them as high risk. So that's kind of when these private lenders come in, like, hey, we're filling in the gap right here. We can be able to assist these people. They can get the cash. And again, it goes back to the mindset. You can just focus on business, focus on increasing your business, executing your game plan. Just utilize these resources and just take advantage of it.
Tell them your business, the business company again. That way people can.
So Kreative Financing is, they can go to my creativefinancing.com, www.creativefinancing.com. They can actually, on that website alone, it just kind of goes over just the financing part. I will incorporate all the other services that I do as well. But, with the financial industry, I just kind of have to be careful on how I promote it. This industry is very highly regulated on how it's marketed.
Right.
So at the same token, but yeah, they can go on that website and, look at the different types of financial products that they can for their business. And they can actually schedule, email me at info@creativefinancing.com. You can reach out to me, set up an appointment, and then we can even discuss any of the other services that I offer for business owners, and we can work it out that way.
I think that's dope, because for me, I'm somebody that I leverage credit. At first, when I was just a sole proprietor, I was leveraging
really good
personal credit to kind of fund the business. And once I kind of got a solid foundation of how to, pay that credit card off consistently, build my credit up. Then once I finally did start my S Corp and I opened a business credit line, that business credit line was even more than my personal. So the thing is, so many people, they think it's so hard to, acquire, whether it's acquire inventory or acquire anything that they're trying to sell, or even, the tech that they might need for their business. People think that it's impossible, but that where there's a will, there's a way. And if you might need to spend a little more money on interest for certain things, but at the same time, just having that access, being able to access those funds is priceless. I feel like that's invaluable information right there.
And that's so great that you're so aware of those things, because it's available. That's the thing. We just have to know about it. It's available. Obviously there's problems in this country, but there's also some great things when you just know what you can do and what the possibilities are. You can just take advantage of it. And that's what's so great. The information is there. Like, you knew how to, apply for those credit cards and then build and then go ahead and get a business line of credit. Yeah, it's there and it's possible, and anybody has access to it. That's the beauty of that. So, and that's why I want to make sure, I just have to educate people and let them know, like, here are your options. And so there's no reason, if you have a game plan and you believe in it, there's no reason why you can't be in business for yourself and, just utilize those resources and take advantage.
Absolutely. So is there like certain requirements that people need before they reach out to you? Do they
I mean, obviously, I not necessarily, see, I want to open arms. Anybody that's serious and that wants to talk about, their business, give me a call. There's no like certain requirement, no, because I don't know what stage you are in your business.
Right.
And once I hear what stage you are in your business, then that's when I can talk about it. If you're somebody that's like, hey man, I don't have any money, but I really have this great idea. Okay, well, go set up a DBA. I mean, you don't even have to do that through me. Like, just go set up a DBA.
Right.
Go to your local clerk's office, set up a DBA, right? And I also can fund DBAs too. If you're doing a certain amount of money a month, you can actually still get funded too. So there's possibilities even with a DBA. Obviously, the only thing is you're taking on all liability, and so that's why it is better to get like a corporation for yourself for that personal protection. But at the same token, you can get started. You can just get started. You don't have to wait for anybody. So that's why I always say it's a mindset. And if someone's ready to come to me, it's like, hey, Greg, this is how much I have. What should I do? How should I get started? And, I could definitely talk to you from there. So I don't care what stage you're in. It's just your mindset. When you come to me, if you come to me with your mindset and you're ready to go, then let's do it. Right. So I don't want to restrict anybody to feel like, oh, well, I'll talk to him when I'm ready. Because I know a lot of people do that. They're going to be like, you know what? I'm not ready to talk to him right now. I think in 2 months I'll be ready. No, if you're ready now, you're ready now. So it's just once you lock that in, then let's talk and let's just work from there.
And the big thing is too, the sooner the better. You talk to me now, 2 months from now, you'll have a better game plan on to what to do.
Exactly. Well said. That's well said.
I think the big thing too that I know for me, I didn't necessarily think of leveraging credit and literally just leveraging. I know sometimes you might be on YouTube and see these ads where people are trying to flip homes and say you can flip homes and you don't even need your own money. And those type of stuff can get really catchy and kind of scammy sometimes. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is, a lot of business owners and a lot of big corporations, they do this same thing every day. Exactly. And people aren't aware. People think you need to always have money to make money, but sometimes you might just need to know the right person and to get into the right door and to send the right email, and then boom, now you're
exactly. It's just being ready. Mm-hmm. So, and obviously even for me, I just always wanted to make sure that I'm prepared for that opportunity, because once it comes, you'll get it.
Exactly. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking this time. I'm definitely going to try to get you on here again so we can.
Yeah. Oh man, no, you have no idea. Thank you so much. Like I can't say any more. I hope that I was able to show the corporation part and and be able to tell people like, hey, this is simple to get started. So I'm excited. What you're doing on your channel is amazing. I've watched it myself. So
thank you.
Keep up the good work, and I'm just trying to catch up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, man. Thank you.
Okay, man. Have a good
one. Hey, let's go. Worst back in the day, and so I can't complain. For all the times I pray carnivores don't come take. Cause it's poppin' up opportunities, I can't salute it. They raising red flags instead of raising solutions. I'm trying to do what's best for me. Okay, right hand's on the wall because it's destiny. First time I own, but right hand man ain't nothing left for me. I left him, see, you can't hold me back like elementary. What's meant for me